here.
Wow. Third on the call sheet.
I mean, you were the last one we asked to be in it.
Okay.
As in, me and Tommy were already a part of it, and then we asked you to be in it.
Well,
Yeah, baby.
For the record, what is your name?
Joey.
What's your name?
Tommy,
And I'm Josh. Welcome to the Fangeared Podcast.
are we recording?
We
right
got a
now?
lot of fun for you tonight.
We just pulled a Nerdist.
Yeah, we did.
I've never heard of that.
Okay. So if you're not familiar with Fangeared as a brand, then that doesn't really matter because this is a whole new thing. We're going to talk to you about some entertainment podcasts. We're going to podcast to you about some entertainment things.
Yep, there you go. Second try's a charm.
I'm so confused right now. What's happening?
We're starting the podcast.
We're getting right into this.
Okay.
No prep.
All right, let's go.
That's how we do things here.
You prep your
Joey, start us out.
Johnny Depp. That's what I always say because I hate Johnny Depp.
Well, I think the plan at this point,
Conversation for
going
another
forward, is just going to be we'll come up with some topics that don't necessarily have to be, timely,
Topical.
topical.
Interesting.
Well, I think we want them to be interesting.
Listenable.
still.
I don't
We'll
know.
see.
I don't know if that's a requirement.
Yeah, we'll see what we're going for after this one. But shall we jump right in?
No.
Skip the pleasantries?
No.
Let's talk about some topics.
It's far too late for skipping the pleasantries.
Oh, we've done that already?
We've already not skipped them.
Oh.
Well, I mean, we didn't get through all of them. I mean, how are you guys doing today?
You're right, Tommy. I'm doing okay.
Doing pretty
man.
good.
How's the family? Good.
Which one?
All right, so
What do you guys think about horror movies?
Ooh, I'm glad you asked.
Now, today.
today's
Actually,
horror
let's
movies.
say, what do you think about horror movies now, 5 years ago, and like the golden age of horror movies?
The golden age being.
Like Frankenstein's
Frankenstein.
monster.
Oh, you're gonna go that old?
Wow, that's-
Wolfman.
Well, what about like in the 70s and 80s when you
Yeah,
had
I'd
like
say that.
Halloween and The Exorcist?
Yeah, I'd say those were more. I'm honest.
That was the worst age.
those
don't-
are the worst
I
horror
don't think
movies.
so.
of
They're
all
just a
time.
different kind of horror
I
movie
was
than
totally
what we're
joking,
used to
'cause-
now.
No, that was sarcasm.
Yeah.
I think that it's
You guys
puzzling.
ever seen Pulse?
No.
No. Oh wait, is that the one with all the stuff in the bathtub on the cover?
I think it's either a bathtub or a
Like-
washing machine. I don't know.
Yeah, I
It's
saw
basically
it
the
on
same thing.
Netflix.
I saw that movie.
I didn't watch it though.
In high school in theaters, and this girl who totally liked me, and I liked her too, but like it was super obvious looking back.
Yeah.
But at the time, I didn't really get it, so nothing happened.
Wow, that got really
All
personal.
Cool. And you never got over her, and
Yeah, I'm still in love with her today.
Ooh, are we talking about ex-girlfriends or horror movies?
What's
the difference?
High five close to the mic.
Okay, good. Keeping it quiet. That's good.
No, I wanted the mic to pick it up.
All right.
So what do you guys think about horror movies?
I'm puzzled as to why they're not good. It seems so obvious.
A lot of them are so close to being good, and then there's a couple,
If you
little
could say just
indie
off
gems.
off the top of your head, the most recent movie you saw that could have been good but it turned out not being good, do you think you might have an example of that?
I would have to say Unfriended.
Just with no prior having talked about this at all. Just
No,
out of
if I had to just pull one out of the top of my hand, Unfriended.
Why?
So close, yet so far.
See, I agree with you. It might not be good. It's definitely not one that I'm going to remember. But it did a lot of things right simply by not doing a lot of things wrong.
Interesting.
But that's why is that the requirement for a horror movie? That should show you how bad horror movies have been.
Okay, well, let's look at horror movies across the past 5 years. They're all Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, that's the only ones. Besides, and you'll get some random ones that fit the same model. Teenagers go to some place that's haunted and
It's
things happen,
haunted.
but it's all the same, and that's why it's so puzzling. All you have to do is make a horror movie that does not fit that mold, and it's gonna be a great movie.
Yeah,
That's
just
all.
by
At
default.
this point, that's all you have to do. Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Whatever.
But that's not good.
I mean,
Okay, well, Unfriended almost broke the mold. The whole laptop screen thing. It was
It's
new.
a cool
it was fresh.
gimmick.
it was fresh.
It seemed like a gimmick, but it actually added a lot of suspense and like mystery to the whole movie throughout. You didn't really know what was happening. Were they really being possessed by a demon? Was someone just messing with them?
Sure.
I mean, it became really clear at a point, but it also helped add to the terror.
I think the best thing that movie did was, like, aside from the tropes of horror movies, it presented information in a unique way. It's literally, you get right in. It starts, and then it's going. It doesn't cut. You're on the screen the whole time.
Right.
And then they don't, like, in every other horror movie, it's like, starts off, like, very happy tone and just, high school kids or college kids doing something, and then it, like, there's a clear, like, okay,
Then someone has sex, and it's all downhill from there.
Well, yeah.
Then they're the first ones to die.
Yep.
Yeah. And see, I think they were aware.
That's why you don't have sex.
They were
saying that.
That's actually the whole message behind It Follows.
I mean, yeah.
I don't want to know anything about that movie, which I have not seen.
Yeah, well, you might be able to talk about that a little bit later. But let's stay on Unfriended for now.
Unfriended.
We'll move backwards in the timeline of horror movies that have been released.
Right, exactly. That's always the best thing to do.
All right, then keep going. Unfriended.
All right, Unfriended. Here we go.
Let me tell you my thoughts about Unfriended.
Okay. Yes.
Having not seen it, it looks terrible.
I thought the exact same thing. Like they spent so much money on advertising for that movie. It couldn't possibly be good.
I have only seen commercials for that movie when my girlfriend is watching reality television.
Well, that's a bad sign.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they know the audience that goes to see horror movies.
Right.
So you can't fault them for that. That's just the marketing trying to make money.
Yeah.
But
generally, movies that are advertised during that kind of thing are not ones that I would want to watch.
right. And I didn't want to see this movie either. A friend of mine wanted to see it. And I felt better about seeing it because when the reviews came in, it's not doing terribly. It's doing better
mediocre.
with critics than audience.
It's hit or miss. It's like 66% Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, but for a horror movie, that's high.
Certified fresh.
No.
And
It's not
the audience is
66.
lower, which usually tells me that technically it's usually a little better than maybe in how enjoyable it is. That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
When you look at how they filmed it, the new things that they're doing, those are more interesting than the actual, like, if you were to just go in blind, audience member, how much did you enjoy yourself? It's fun. It's very quick, which I thought was good.
It's short. Yeah.
It's like
to the
they
point. Yeah.
they
You
found
mean it.
every piece of fat and just trimmed it, which is what these other horror movies do not do.
You know.
That's good. I think
Yeah.
that's definitely a plus.
Right.
You don't want there to be too much there that doesn't need to be there in general as a movie.
Or anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Any movie should do that.
Yeah. So that's why I think if you wanted to go and make a horror movie right now, all you have to do is take a look at all the tropes, all the things that are overused.
And don't do them.
Don't do them.
Have an original idea.
Yes. But it's, I don't know, it's not that complicated. I don't know why people don't do it. Why you
Well,
feel like it's not.
people are doing it. This year we got It Follows. Late last year we got The Babadook.
Babadook.
And those are two horror movies that broke the mold that hasn't been broken maybe in a decade.
Right. but
Maybe
they're
since Paranormal
still-
Activity.
And everybody loves them.
They're still very small, though.
Yeah, they don't get the attention they deserve because they're not like exciting. It's not like a movie that you go to the theater to have a horror movie experience.
Right.
You go to have a good movie, and it happens to be a horror movie. And for me, they stick with me, but like a normal audience is gonna walk out being like, "Oh, that wasn't even scary, bro." You know?
Well, I think we also have come to expect horror movies to just be pretty bad. I remember when Cabin in the Woods came out, and they literally marketed it as "it's not what you think."
Yeah.
And I remember thinking like, okay, what could they possibly do to make it different? It's just like every other movie.
And then
And
it
then-
happened to be great.
Yeah, it was-
However, springboarding off of that a little bit, and original ideas.
Ooh.
Did you hear?
Yes, I did hear about this.
They got hit with the lawsuit.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, I was looking at the similarities that they pointed out,
Like the names are kind of similar.
and like there are similarities,
I saw there's like over
Right.
20 scenes that are like the same scenes.
Oh, I didn't. I just read the statement that the guy who is suing them made, and I don't know. It does seem a little questionable, but I'm interested to hear the other side because I don't know how do you gauge what, like, how much is enough to be taking someone's artistic license or using their.
I don't think they're obviously not going to win that lawsuit. I mean,
I don't even think the parts that they that this guy is saying are similar are what made the movie good.
Well, he's
So how do
saying
you,
that
like-
the basic premise of a group of teenagers going to this cabin, and then it turns out the whole thing is being orchestrated by some like company or whatever, is the premise of his book.
Yeah, I mean to an extent, but that's so broad.
Yeah, I'm kind
Like
of.
that is not that's not original in itself. This
Maybe.
guy may be like people have had that idea, I guarantee. But
Definitely.
and what I'm saying is
You could
that's
even-
not what makes this movie great.
You could even say that the movie is a commentary on the way that horror movies are made in real life,
Right.
and it could be based on that.
well, that's definitely what it is.
Yeah.
About.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's about.
Well, yeah, no, I know, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, how can this guy say that it's based on his book when he's basing it on that reality? Why can't Joss Whedon and Lionsgate be basing it on that reality?
It's obviously because this guy is a broke, failing writer who needs
$10 million.
easy money.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
it's
what
it's
he's
a
suing
pretty
them
popular
for.
thing now to look for similarities in your work to
Marvin Gaye.
Marvin Gaye, also somebody else for who else got sued?
Blurred
You know what?
Lines.
That's
Blurred Lines got
the
sued?
That's Marvin Gaye.
Marvin
The
Gaye's.
Gaye
Well,
estate.
he's
Estate.
it's not him. He's
It's his
the estate.
whoever
yeah.
owns. I think his family.
His family.
Is Marvin Gaye dead?
Yeah. His dad killed him. This is a very
What?
This is how he died. It's a very famous death.
And who is Marvin Gaye?
Oh my god. He's
Moving
like an
on.
R&B singer.
Moving
What
on.
does he have to do with horror movies, guys?
Because well,
It has to do with
it was
this lawsuit thing.
tangentially related.
Yes.
Right? Don't belittle.
Quite a
me.
long tangent.
It was, but I mean, but it's all part of the artistic license. Like, how do you determine what is one person's idea and another person coming up with a similar idea, but that is clearly different? And it could be argued that the things that make it great and successful are those differences.
Yeah.
Like, how do you go and say, hey, you stole this part from me. This part is similar, so I deserve a cut of the money that you got.
Right.
So Joss Whedon can get sued for stealing the idea for Cabin in the Woods, but the hundreds of other directors who make a movie about a ghost possessing a family in a house, in a
Exactly.
haunted house, don't get sued for that shitty idea.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got to the bottom of that one. They're gonna settle out of court. He's gonna make a lot of money,
Yep.
and
That's
that's
what's gonna
just
happen, yeah.
gonna go away.
Right. All right. Do you want to talk about Unfriended a little more?
I,
Maybe get into actual
Or
like.
should we move on
plot
to
stuff, or...
what are the shitty horror movies that you can think of off the top of your head? There
Ooh,
are a lot.
like they came out
ooh,
recent- I haven't
Poltergeist. Why are they remaking Poltergeist?
It hasn't come out yet.
Why are they remaking it?
They shouldn't be.
I don't-
Why
I've
would
never-
they
It
make-
looks absolutely terrible. It looks like they... I haven't seen Poltergeist. But it looks like not just like a modern version of Poltergeist. Like, it looks like they changed the entire tone of the movie to fit what new horror movies are, which is
Not good.
bullshit jump scares
Yeah.
Okay,
and
well-
just like not scary. And when I was seeing Furious 7 and they played that trailer, which I guess for some reason no one else in the theater had seen the trailer 100 times yet, but there was like an applause that lasted halfway through the next trailer.
What?
What?
People were like so stoked about it.
Well, that's why they're making it.
Who
then.
is excited about that?
Yeah.
And why would they? People that were around when it first came out are probably angry that there's a new one.
Yeah, well,
and the people in later
may I-
generations, why do they?
May I present
at
to
all.
you then the problem?
With-
That's why that movie is being made.
People-
is because the people want it. And
people
they're
keep
gonna pay
eating
for
it up.
Yeah.
Like, okay, the last 5 seconds of Unfriended were, I don't know.
This
Should
is
we
happening
spoil it?
right now.
Spoiler alert
Spoiler.
for all those unfriended fans out there.
Go for it.
When the ghost girl closes the laptop screen, which completely ruins the whole premise of doing
Wait.
the entire movie.
No, Ghost Girl didn't close
Yeah.
it. She closed it.
No, Ghost Girl closed it. Why would she close it?
Because
She- at
everybody
that-
else on there was dead.
At that point,
Why would she keep her laptop on?
Because she's trying to convince the ghost not to kill her.
Yeah,
Okay, Ghost Girl closes the laptop. Rewatch it.
I'm not going to.
Ghost Girl closes the laptop, jumps forward at the camera. Fuck, I totally forgot where I was going with this.
You're saying that it was. I don't remember what you were
Where-
saying.
where did-
I don't
where did I
remember
start?
Where this came from. Anyway, this.
Oh, that happened. Worst part of the movie, completely ruined the movie for me. And some dumb lady behind me goes, "That was so scary. That was the best part of the movie." It's like, okay, that wasn't scary.
was
First
so-
of all,
No, but see, once again, like, I don't think they really tried to make that part scary. I mean, look at the other deaths. The way they did those, I thought were better. Like, it was cutting in and out, and you just get glimpses of
yeah,
things.
it was like creative, and I think they just got lazy at the end.
I think they
they
just
did try
needed-
to make it scary. They tried to end on a big jump that makes the audience, like pee their pants right before they leave the theater.
Yeah, I mean, but that ending, it told us a lot more than just. I mean, it confirmed that this is a paranormal thing. Although we knew it was because she
Yeah.
kept going back to that website.
Okay, but even if we knew it was a paranormal thing, we never saw the physical
Right.
being of the girl.
Right. It is a problem that they broke from having the people commit suicide.
Yeah,
And then,
that was
and even though she was special, like, she was the main person that did this to the girl, but
it broke
yeah,
continuity
it
and
wasn't-
ruined the mysteriousness that they had been building for 75 minutes.
yeah, it did make me poop my pants though
Oh well,
and cry. a
good thing I
little bit.
recorded it and posted it online.
Oh, come on, that's a low blow. Laura Barnes killed herself. Okay, that's not funny.
Okay, I think we've talked enough.
Yeah, okay.
Clearly we have a lot to say about Unfriended, so maybe that means it was good after all. Who knows?
Who knows what
I mean,
it means?
well, that is true. I mean, it got me thinking.
We're
It kept me
talking
thinking about it.
We're advertising it.
There have definitely been movies where I walk out and I have no interest in talking about them because they were just boring and stupid. This one, definitely, there were new and interesting things to at least discuss.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of horror
The
movies.
grand scheme of things, because we are talking about horror movies.
Scream. You know
The
what?
grand
Just
scheme
what
of
I've been
things.
wanting to talk about.
At least they tried to do something fresh and new, and they almost followed through with it, and it was working.
I think it's
Nice.
gonna get some buzz.
Well, we'll just have to wait
No.
until Unfriended 2,
It's
which
it's not gonna exist.
I don't think
why
it's
not?
going to.
Why not?
Well, they're all dead. But
they all died.
They're all. Oh,
Actually-
does that matter?
actually,
Does that,
something
tell
that-
me, look me in the face and honestly tell me that matters.
Name one
although actually,
franchise. that
Name
they-
one horror franchise that's had a sequel.
it was interesting. My friend brought this up though.
Oh,
he
Sinister
said,
2. Didn't everyone die at the end of Sinister?
I have no
Didn't
idea.
watch it.
Ethan Hawke. You didn't watch Sinister?
Why would I
No,
watch that
why would I
movie?
watch that movie?
It was. I mean, it was like same thing as Unfriended. Like,
Yeah, it was supposed to
It,
be.
it was
kinda
like
good.
almost new and refreshing, and then at the end it ended with the ghost jumping at the camera,
My favorite.
so it was ruined.
Yeah.
Just like the end of Paranormal Activity, the first one, which I also didn't like.
Except that was a girl.
Yeah.
What does that matter?
She was
Well,
possessed
didn't
by
the girl
demon.
jump at the camera?
Yeah, possessed by the
No,
demon.
Just
not the
possessed
ghost though.
Anyway.
There's a difference.
Anyway.
Yeah, but what I was gonna say in Unfriended, we actually don't know if the girl's dead.
Okay.
So
True.
second one,
They make enough
insane
money.
asylum.
They make enough money. I
Locked
guarantee there will be enough.
I don't.
I mean,
know
that
if
movie
they'll
was
make a
probably made
profit.
for. Are you kidding me?
I don't know. They spent a lot on advertising.
But how much do you think the production
The
of this
production
movie
was
was?
nothing.
That's true.
Nothing.
It was a really low budget.
Yeah.
Trust me, and the thing is, this is like movie theater insider tips here.
Joey works at a movie theater
Yeah, well, not for long, but
for the next few weeks.
it's so short that we are able to play the movie
More
a
often.
ridiculous amount of times.
That's true.
So it looks like we're like, oh, it's so popular. All the popular movies get a lot of showtimes, so it looks like it's really popular, and it will probably draw more people in just from that.
Yeah.
That's the way it works.
Yeah. That's some pretty deep psychology about a movie called Unfriended.
Ooh, I don't know what you're getting at, but
Look, if you're gonna go see a horror movie in theaters, go see It Follows before it's out of
yeah,
theaters.
see It Follows, then see Unfriended. It's an hour and 20 minutes long.
Unfriended's budget was $1 million.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
That's
it was
probably
that
the
much,
cheapest
honestly.
movie I've ever heard of.
Yeah, I mean, 1 million.
Tusk cost them $3 million.
Actors.
Speaking of horror movies,
Director. I don't even know who directed it, but
Probably some no
$1
name.
million.
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine it being that much. Maybe from the effects.
From the Ghost Girl effect, it's like 500,000 right there.
Well, no, I mean they definitely had to use effects
Levon
throughout, but
Gabriadze.
maybe they had
probably
to
editors for all the dang typing they had to do.
maybe they had to buy all the camera equipment.
Oh, the camera equipment.
Maybe the studio
The
just
shitty
wanted
laptops, and they told them when they hired the actors, you have to have a laptop in order
Bring
to
your own
with a
Mac.
webcam.
No, those are probably. Damn, how much did these actors get paid?
They're all no-name actors.
Yeah.
I mean, probably not a
100,
lot.
they-
100 G each.
I know,
They're
I-
probably gonna
There
get a
was
little extra.
6 characters, only 6 characters in the movie.
Did they, and you said they definitely did film it in one take.
The finished product, according to the actors, was one
Okay,
take.
according to the
Okay,
actors.
well because
they don't know
I would
what that.
They-
I would say
The whole-
that it's most likely that all of those, each little screen, is placed in post.
Yeah,
Possibly.
but I'm talking about in terms of I'm pretty
I
sure
don't
they
think
were
it's an
all
actual
actually
screen.
talking to each other. Like they might have been in different locations,
Uh,
but they were because
They could have just. I would think that they're talking to the camera as if it's the camera on their laptop, and then they paste it in there. And pose
Almost,
it
almost
onto it.
definitely, because
Yeah.
sometimes their responses had like no lag that you would get from a Skype
I don't
call.
know the way they were talking, like because they actually reenact. They start doing the full thing on the interview that I was listening to, and they start with the girl and the guy in the very
Yeah.
beginning, and they know all the lines and they're just going through. They said they did it all in one thing. I don't know how they did it.
The movie plays like one take, but it's almost impossible
know.
to get a
The-
whole movie in
The
one
movie
take.
of the year 2014 looked like one take, and it wasn't.
Obviously, it wasn't.
Oh, you're talking about
Birdman.
Birdman.
Yeah, no, definitely not one take. But you could tell where
Not
they
my
cut there.
personal movie
It's
of the
like
year. I need to clarify.
digital edits. I thought it was really good.
Though it was very good.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot, but it wasn't my favorite.
Scary, pretty scary movie.
Yeah.
No, that was a horror
Guy turning
movie.
into a Birdman.
That's how you make a horror movie. Right there.
Yeah. Flying away at the end. Spoiler alert. I don't know. I honestly don't understand
Guy
what
that-
happened at the end there.
Oh,
Guy
one of
that
my
aged
favorite theories
naked?
is that when he shot himself, he actually died,
I thought he was dead the whole time.
and he's like in heaven, where like
Everybody's
that's like
theory
his
for
heaven, where he's
everything.
laying in the hospital bed, and his
Oh.
daughter's finally like accepting him. and
I
stuff.
thought it was that his daughter is also schizophrenic.
I thought that,
That's
too.
also a
At the
theory.
end.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, we came up with that together.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we did.
But yeah.
Oh,
I don't
man.
know what the truth is though.
Yeah, that's some of the fun of it.
Well, before we get too far into this conversation,
So Birdman, what I brought you here to talk about.
final thoughts. Horror movies. Where do you think we're going, or where we should be going? Do you think we're going there?
I think be original, develop a new audience, because if you just keep feeding them the same shit, they're just gonna keep liking the same shit. It's like if you're forced to eat shit for your whole life, you never know. If you're forced to eat shit from the day
You're
you were
gonna like
born,
it.
you're never gonna know that there's hamburgers out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you'll
I
keep thinking it's
guess.
good, so you'll keep eating it.
Yeah, exactly.
I vaguely understand the metaphor.
Yeah, I see what you're trying to get at here. I think we are seeing a change. I think so far within the
Slowly.
last year and this year, we're seeing more horror movies that are getting some attention for being unique and of a higher quality.
Some meaning behind it, not
Right.
just scare.
Yeah, that's we didn't really talk about that, but there was a lot of talk about what Unfriended is actually about, and it's sort of supposed to be about the internet and sort of internet
abuse.
addiction and like how difficult it can be to get away from that and still have like a life, I guess, or how scary it can be to shut off from the world.
Definitely.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
I got some of that.
Yeah,
We're gonna do a little break,
Oh, thank God. My lungs hurt.
guys. Welcome back,
Well, how long have we been recording?
Tommy.
long enough.
Does the audience know what a lattice is?
No, they don't know what a lattice
That
is.
has heard nothing of a lattice, and we will not get back into that.
If you
but
want to
anyway,
look up what a lattice is, dictionary.com.
Guys.
The app's great. It takes up a lot of space on your phone, though. Just be warned.
guys. Thrones, Thrones, Game of Thrones, Thrones, Game of Thrones, Thrones, Game of Thrones, Thrones, Game of Thrones, 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 Game of Thrones, Thrones, Game of
And
Thrones,
cut.
And we're done, and we got it.
Okay, no, well, we
We're
weren't.
going to be talking about Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Not
We will
spoilers.
Not be spoiling.
Not
anything.
going to be talking about...
If we get into a spoiler, which we probably won't.
Wait, is that true? I've never watched Game of Thrones.
Well, folks, it was a pleasure podcasting for you, but we're officially canceled.
We're going to have to cut that out.
Yeah.
Wait, is that actually true? Where were we?
So, Game of Thrones just premiered this past week, last Sunday.
This Sunday.
And the first 4 episodes leaked on the internet.
Yep. And this funny story that goes along with this that sort of ties into what we want to talk about. I was with Josh it was yesterday. Was it yesterday? No. It was a couple days ago. And we were talking, and I was saying, oh, did you hear that the first 4 episodes of Game of Thrones leaked? He's like, what? No, I didn't hear about that.
I've been on the internet this whole time. I was in danger
Yeah, and he
of
was
having it ruined for me.
so scared that it was going to be spoiled for him. And I thought the same thing, which is why on Monday and Tuesday, after the first one came out, I watched all 4 episodes.
Yeah. Which, I mean, as much as you hate to do it, you're kind of stuck in that situation because spoilers are everywhere.
Right.
The show is infamous for its spoilage.
Right, and this made me think of a couple key things. The first one's not as relevant to what we're talking about, but I think it's interesting, and that is how much power the writers of Game of Thrones have.
Thrones.
I was thinking about, like, what if they're, like, their families or friends, like, influence them in some way. Like, they say something and piss them off, and then they go and write, and they kill off somebody. Like, and then even...
Or they tell them what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Or, like, having to keep those secrets
Yeah.
from people they know. And how crazy that must be. But the way that this sort of ties in what we wanted to talk about is that...
How does the power of those spoilers and the power of... I think the power of the spoilers is one thing, and then the power
Yeah.
of leaks
Yeah, I think it's
another thing.
Yeah, I think it's more like the power of ruining something that people are very excited about and, like, are really getting something from. Game of Thrones specifically, it's sort of like a Breaking Bad, where people know when it's going to come out. It always comes out around April, and you only get 10 episodes.
Yeah.
So having some of those ruined, it takes a lot away.
Defined ruined.
I mean, you want to be able to experience certain things. In this case, it's probably when characters die.
I mean, it's a preference to not know.
Yeah.
I mean, look at comic books. The title of the comic book is Death of Superhero. And the fun is in getting there and reading the comic to know what is going to happen.
Right, and I think in Game of Thrones, they specifically put a lot of emphasis on... They put a lot of meaning behind the deaths of these characters, because in Game of Thrones, what it usually means is, power is about to change hands.
Yeah.
Everything is shifted.
That's the Game of Thrones.
Yeah, when a character dies. So it tells you a lot when you hear about a character dying. It tells you a lot more about where the show's going to go. So it's spoiling a lot more than just someone's death.
And also the deaths are often in unexpected people in unexpected moments.
Right.
So it's a little different in that way.
Right.
So... oh, that's made a weird mouth noise.
Tommy's neck had something to say.
It's trying to escape.
I think the reason why we're exposed to so many spoilers on the internet this day is because a lot of people do want to see them, though. Like, it seems like people don't care about the content. They just want to know what happens.
That's definitely true for some people.
Yeah.
I know some people like that for sure.
But see, I don't think those people are...
As invested.
I don't
I
think
watch
they're
very
invested.
few shows live.
Yeah,
Game of Thrones
right.
is one of maybe 2 shows that I'll watch live.
Right. And I mean, previously that's basically been because you want to know what we know the history of spoilers with this show specifically.
Right.
You want to know what happens, so you keep up with it. You don't. It's not something that you save.
Yeah.
But also, this is also a very big show that we're not getting sort of in the Netflix format, which is the next thing that we wanted to talk about.
Right.
Because, and this wasn't my idea. This was somebody else said this. Mike Peterson, MW10
Shout out's pretty much it.
T's, toes, something like that. I don't know. But he was talking about, because he watched the 4 episodes when they leaked, and he said that, you know, he understands why all shows should do the Netflix model, the binge watch model. And after I watched all 4, I agreed. Specifically with Game of Thrones, because there's like 7 storylines going on at the same time.
Right. It's hard to follow.
It's hard to follow every little thing that goes on. You have a general idea, but you want specific details that, I mean, the show creators are taking the time to put in these details and very important things. I don't even think they would want you to forget them by the time the next episode airs.
No.
So when I watched them back to back, everything was so fresh. It was like a different experience, and that's actually how I watched the first 2 seasons.
Well, quick question: was it so fresh and so clean?
I would say it was so fresh and so clean, but that's just a matter of opinion.
I don't get it. I'm just gonna interject and say I kind of disagree. I don't think every show should be Netflix.
Ah, fuck yeah,
That's bullshit.
Netflix format.
But the thing is, with Netflix format, you have the choice. You can
do.
split them up.
I'm gonna watch this every Monday at 7:00.
Like, it gives you the option. We
But
don't have
it
that.
still feels like, for me, with some shows, it feels like I have this hill to climb. Like, I have 11 more episodes in the season.
And then you triumphantly get to
Am
the
I
top.
really going to schedule, I'm going to watch it every Sunday night at 9, the next
Right.
episode?
Yeah,
No.
probably not. But
You're just gonna watch like 3-4 at a time, make
Yeah.
a snack, and then watch the rest of it in that same day.
Only with certain shows. I feel like it only works with shows like Breaking Bad that always have great cliffhanger type ending to every episode.
right,
That's very true.
That's Game of Thrones too, though.
Okay.
In fact, I think there's a lot of, now that I think about it, a lot of shows that are on Netflix that don't really need to be in the Netflix model. They're just sort of their own separate things. They're not as continuous.
Yeah, but those aren't usually on the Netflix model
Yeah,
by
maybe-
choice.
yeah,
They're
maybe not
shows
all.
that have already aired that have a backlog of episodes that
Right.
you can just watch all of.
Well, I mean, even some of their, I guess maybe not all of their original content. Thinking about more recent things. Kimmy Schmidt.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys watched any of it?
I haven't.
It's very
Is that
good.
a TV series? I thought it was just
It's
like a
Netflix.
stand-up
It's-
thing.
No.
I thought it was a
It's a
stand-up
show.
special. Oh,
No, it's a
okay.
show. Wow.
I mean, I saw it on there. Just
No,
scrolled right
it's
past.
it's really good.
How many
but-
eps?
I think it's
Isn't it? Not
between
a lot.
10 or 13. I don't know.
24 minutes or 50 minutes?
No, 20, 24, yeah.
Daredevil's actually, they're 52-minute episodes.
Are they really?
Yeah, they're long.
See, Daredevil's one of those shows where I watched the first episode.
I was hooked.
No desire. I am not
Really?
hooked at all.
I was hooked on the first episode. I loved it.
I haven't watched any of it, but
It was. I mean,
I liked it a lot in the
I
first
think you need
episode, but
to
it does get better. I would
watch
say
it
keep
because
going.
I've heard people saying that it's good. And a friend of mine
honestly,
said he watched the first 3 and he was like, "Yeah, it's really good. I'm gonna keep watching." And he wasn't even hooked by the third. But I mean, I've heard too many good things from reliable sources.
it's really
I
good
like it a lot.
content, but Daredevil's just such a stupid superhero.
why?
Because he's blind, Josh. It
He's
doesn't make any
so-
sense.
It makes perfect sense.
He's so
No, I'm
blind that
kidding.
he knows like perfect fighting skills.
No, he knows
No.
perfect fighting skills because his dad was a boxer.
Well, I haven't got to that part in the show.
His dad's a boxer. Everybody knows that.
Okay, well, his dad can't throw a taser into like a wall and that deflects off and hits a bad guy in the head perfectly.
His dad wasn't blind and has the heightened senses to know what
A
that
blind
does.
guy certainly wouldn't know which way the wall is angled.
Why not?
How would he possibly know that?
He feels the vibrations.
It seems like a lot of baloney.
Anyway,
Look,
there's a really cool one shot in, I think it's the
Ooh.
second episode.
Hang on, I've heard about this, so don't spoil it.
It's really cool. That's all I'll say, but it's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah,
Really
no, I've
cool
heard
fight
there's.
scene in one hallway. It's really awesome.
Yeah, I've heard that there's a lot of good scenes, a lot of unique fighting style stuff. I don't know.
My roommate described it as if Arrow was
TVMA.
Acted well.
no, if it was brutal and good.
Brutal and it was brutal and good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Yeah.
But in the same way I like Arrow on a weekly basis, I would be okay with seeing Daredevil on a weekly basis instead of trying to watch 12 episodes at once.
I think Arrow would work
Oh.
as a
Weekly.
weekly show.
Yeah.
It's not really. They try to do. I don't know if you remember the end of the first episode. It kind of gives way to the second episode, but it's not in a like I need to see what happens right now way.
Yeah.
It kind of like starts what's gonna happen, but kind of vaguely.
And that's why everyone who wants to watch a show now has a really hard time catching up because there's so many episodes on Netflix and it's impossible to get into.
I wonder what would happen if Netflix, like, went away from their model for a show and released one like every 3 days
That'd be interesting.
to see what would like. It's still a short amount of time. You're not waiting a full week, but it gives a little bit of a gap. I wonder what that would do. It'd probably lose a lot of their viewership because people aren't gonna stay for the full time.
Well, it's harder to come back because Netflix is set up in a weird way. When you start Netflix, the first thing you get is these are the things I planned on watching and I have inputted into this. Which the first thing that's on there is always the thing that you put in there 10 years ago when Netflix announced that they were doing online streaming and you never got to and you don't really even want to watch it anymore, but it's still on there. So the first thing you see is that. So you have to navigate to what you were watching previously.
By scrolling down one click to your recently watched.
Unless you're watching on Wii U and then it's like up 3. But anyway, besides the point. It's not particularly easy to get to where you were. It's certainly not in 3 days. Like if you know the date, or if you know it's the day of the week and the time from TV, then you know where to tune in at what time to see it. If it's in every 3 days, that's a different day every week.
Right.
Yeah, Joey. It's a stupid idea.
Well, but it gives people a chance to watch one episode, digest that one episode,
Get a little suspense.
and then
Then when that one's like
because
a day.
I feel like people can wait 2 days, a week. People like I even find myself doing this.
He's down
You're
to two.
waiting. You get to Wednesday and Thursday, and you're like, you start to lose the excitement for it.
Yeah.
It's a
definitely.
little too long of a period of time. You're forgetting things from the previous episode, but 2 days in between, that's cutting down on spoilers for people that haven't watched it yet. You're allowing people who don't necessarily want to watch it all in one go, but feel like they have to. But those people who want to watch it all at once don't have to wait very long to get.
Well, the weekly TV model and why it's dying is because that's kind of dependent on you continuing to watch that channel every day
Right.
and seeing those commercials for it so that it's fresh in your mind that it's coming and you want to watch it.
Yeah, or even just sticking with it throughout, 2-3 months.
Or just
Right,
having
that's-
a DVR that automatically records it for you.
Well, yeah, that too, and it makes it convenient. However, then at that point you're just Netflix.
Yeah, but even then, most people probably leave it on their DVR for so long, and maybe they'll get to it way after
Yeah.
the series is over.
At that point, you
and
have
the season is ended.
you have the whole season, and then it's just Netflix.
I disagree. I check my DVR every day.
You're a special kind of breed of human being.
I mean, isn't that what it's there for?
You're
one of the good
dedicated.
ones, Tommy.
Yeah, you're one of the good ones. Not everybody
Thanks, guys.
has those.
You're welcome.
It's kind of, but
I think give people the option.
I do like. I mean, I just like
Put it all
mixing
up.
things
I'll watch
up.
it when I want to.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
It
I don't think people can be trusted to
technically
do things a certain way, though. I think by putting them all together, people are going to just watch them.
yeah,
all.
you're obligated to
That's
watch them
what's
all.
going to happen when you
Yeah.
do that.
We'll take a weekend and watch them all.
Sometimes it works.
I mean, but the other thing is, like, for Netflix, don't they want to stretch that out? The excitement after, a House of Cards comes out, it came out like 2 months ago, the newest season. Nobody's talking about it anymore.
Yeah.
It's done because it all came out in one lump. People watched it, and now Daredevil's out.
Yeah. Well, that's because that's exactly what they wanted to happen. Was that's over now? No one's talking about it now. Daredevil's out. Everybody's talking about Daredevil. They're going to talk about it for a little bit, and then
I guess
the next season of Orange is the New Black's going to come out, and we're going to be talking about that. They have more shows.
Yeah. I guess at this point now that they have so much content, it's
Yeah.
not. But I remember, after like the first season of both of those shows, came
Netflix
out.
has so much more content than what is popular that we don't even know about.
Not that much more.
They have a lot. More than you
I
are
think
really aware of.
Yeah, but I'm
They
talking
have
about
the Turbo
original.
animated show. They have a... Yeah, exactly. Joey just gave me a face of, what?
Wait,
Yes.
Turbo,
as
the
in-
movie
Turbo
about the snail.
There's an animated show.
Yeah, they have an animated show for
it's just not
kids.
marketed towards us.
They
so
have
we don't
that
see it.
and How to Train Your Dragon show.
I did hear about that. Is that out yet though? I don't think it's.
It's out, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, they have a bunch of stand-up comedians exclusively on Netflix.
Which are they're usually popular right when they're released.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
They are doing a lot of things.
Yeah, I guess they are doing a lot more.
They can afford to put everything out at once. That's kind of the instant gratification. It's what people like it.
It's what Netflix is all about.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm all about changing the industry, shaking things up.
When we
I
started
think
this
Netflix
conversation,
has
weren't
a-
you in favor of binge?
Yes.
Okay.
I still am. I'm proving a point.
Very confused.
Arguing the opposite. No, but what I'm talking about is for specific shows. I think, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think, depending on the show, that should determine the model. Because there are shows that don't need it, and those
Sure.
shows are on TV and come out once a week.
Yeah.
But then there are shows like Game of Thrones, where HBO could put it all out at once.
Well,
They wanted
here's
to. I mean, they still have their,
here's
their
like
TV.
kind of a whole different can of worms. Is do you think with HBO now, they might switch to that model, or at least for some shows?
I can see it, but also no, because I think what they're worried about is that people are not going to stay. I mean, how many people do you think subscribe to HBO for the duration of, like, forever with the minimum amount of time they can to watch Game of Thrones and then cancel their subscription?
I'm
so
sure.
for them, the shorter that is, maybe the worse.
Well, might we just clarify that's a bad idea because there are plenty of great shows on HBO.
No, yeah,
Anyway.
no. Well, no, that's the thing. Well, that's what we're seeing more.
Well, they don't-
There's a lot more content coming out on HBO.
This is definitely the time of year where all their best shows are on.
I-
Silicon
I
Valley,
mean,
Veep, and Game of Thrones
I
are
think
all.
there's still some hidden gems coming out, not during
And then of course we have what you call it coming out,
True
True
Detective.
Detective,
True Detective. A
which
lot of
looks
big.
great.
I don't think if they were to go with the Netflix model and just release a whole season of a TV show on HBO now, it wouldn't be their big shows. It wouldn't be Game of Thrones. It would be something like The Jinx, which was like a 6-episode thing.
They might test it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, that's what I'm saying. Like, why? I mean, maybe I
But-
just don't know enough
But
about
that's the
their...
thing. HBO now right now is exclusive to Apple, but once it goes wide, that model will be the reason why they're not doing it now is because they want people to tune in to their old model of watching it on television every week, so they get those ratings. Ratings might be irrelevant for them once HBO Now goes wide, because everybody's just going to have HBO Now.
Right.
It's not going to be about tuning in every week to get those ratings because that boosts numbers. It's going to be who watched the whole thing. They're going to put the whole thing out and then who watched all of it.
Yeah. I mean, because for them, they're very much a Netflix type company. They're
Yeah.
like the original, which is the amount of money they
It's
have.
premium content. You're
the-
paying extra for it because it's better.
Right. But I mean, no, you don't have ads at all.
Right.
So it's dependent on having good content
Yeah.
and the reputation that you have good content and are going to continue to have good content, so people will stay subscribed
Yes.
to your service. And I don't think that will be interrupted. I mean, as we've seen with Netflix, by releasing all of your content at once. In fact, what we were just talking about is that people love it. So
Yeah.
it's going. I think it's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean,
once they develop HBO Now.
Thinking about it now, that
convert to
that model of releasing it all at once would not work if they were exclusively tied to the cable networks.
Right, well, yeah, well, they're
Because they
They're
rely
owned
on
by
them
Time
tuning
Warner.
in every week.
right.
Those are the numbers that say whether it's a good show or not.
Yeah, but for them, but that's what I'm saying. For them, it's different. For a regular cable channel, the ratings are important because that determines how many people are watching the ads, the commercials.
Yeah,
that's
where the money's coming in.
For HBO, it's how many people are watching this because we need to have a certain amount of people engaged and actually liking our content so that they will still subscribe because that's where our money comes from.
Yeah, and also that's not a viable partnership with cable companies if they're not getting any viewers. If everybody's watching on HBO Go and HBO Now, then why do cable companies want HBO to be part of their service?
Right.
They don't.
They
Exactly.
don't.
But they do, because people are watching it week to week. This leak
Ruin that.
kind of ruins that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still gonna get the viewers they need.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean,
It's Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, has always been, the number one
Always.
most torrented show.
Oh yeah. That and Walking Dead.
Really? Is Walking Dead the other one?
Yeah.
Really?
Why?
Yeah. Walking Dead is one of the most popular shows of all time.
Well, yeah. It's
What's a torrent?
In
Pro-
general.
it's almost definitely the most popular show of all time. But
I don't know.
Why do
I
people
would
need
say
to
that.
torrent it? Big Bang Theory, really?
Wait,
Is-
what do
yeah.
you mean by popular show? Oh, yeah, in terms
People
of
watching.
Wait, really? Big Bang Theory?
Big Bang Theory, a rerun of Big Bang Theory gets more viewers than a new episode of Breaking Bad did, even the series finale.
I don't want to believe that's true.
but that's
I-
because
I promise.
okay, yeah,
I
but,
know it's sad.
Why?
but that's because it literally gets the best time spot,
Mm-hmm.
which is when people are sitting down for dinner.
Yeah.
Thursday nights at 8.
Is that when it comes on? I
Yep.
don't know. But even their reruns, like that's the only thing on. It's like between 7 o'clock or somewhere around
Yeah.
there, and it's so for the average everyday person
That show
does
is
not care about real.
That show is perfect for its time spot because no one is watching it that intently that they realize how terrible it is. The people are eating dinner and talking to their families, and it's on in the background, and every once in a while they'll glance over.
Yeah, I just.
And then the hot girl will make fun of the scientist nerd guy.
Yeah, like real life still.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What year is it?
but they're.
I don't know, like 1990 something.
Yeah, I have a lot of problems with that show.
Oh yeah, we'll get into
We'll get
that
into
another
that another
time.
time.
Oh.
The point being, the leak, bad. However, probably came at a good time to where they're switching over to HBO Now, which is a great idea. I will be dropping cable at some point, probably. I mean, I want to. My girlfriend doesn't want to, but that's a different story.
Cable is expensive.
It is expensive. I don't know. I do find value in it now, so I don't know. I don't really care. It's not that. It's some money, but it's
Netflix.
not that much money.
You can live with Netflix.
You can definitely live with
Yeah.
Netflix. You just need HBO, and now there's HBO Now. So
Yeah, I think main point. Are we wrapping? I think main point out of this, and the reason why I wanted to talk about it was because it's clear that Game of Thrones is a show that a lot of people really like. A lot of people want to watch without it being interrupted.
Yeah.
It's also a show that is known for spoilers. So with this leak, I think it really brought out the fear in me that
oh yeah,
because before I would be able to watch Game of Thrones on
Just watch
on
it
HBO
live.
Go. Because we're West Coast, even 3 hours before it comes on live, I'd be able to watch it
Yeah,
on HBO
on
Go.
HBO Go.
So I have no worries. No one was going to spoil it for me. But when this happened, I was like, there's nothing I can do. These episodes don't come out for another 3 weeks.
Just not look at the internet or talk to anyone.
You know, I think
so
you
we
need to
all
see
know.
Unfriended again.
We all know
Teach
how
a lesson
unrealistic
in
that is.
Cutting off the internet.
Okay.
All right, well, guys, what do you think about the Netflix binge watch model? What do you think about leaks in general? What do you think about Game of Thrones? What do you think about horror movies? What do you think about the three of us?
I like us.
Do you like us?
I feel like I was inviting just a lot of trollery.
Good.
Hey, any comment's a good comment.
Yeah.
Yeah, all press is good press.
Yeah, it's all money in my pocket.
Yeah, we're millionaires.
Am I getting paid for this?
Let us know of any topics you might want us to discuss and talk about. And we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.